All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Corona pandemic has presented an opportunity to reshape world order and to reorient thinking. Vice President and Prime Minister to interact with governors and lieutenant governors on COVID situation today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says government has no plan to impose countrywide lockdown amid spike in corona cases. Maharashtra government to impose 15-day strict restrictions in the state from 8 p.m. today to break the chain of pandemic. Nation pays homage to architect of Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, on his 130th birth anniversary today. NHAI to deploy network survey vehicle to enhance quality of national highways in the country. Holy month of Ramzan begins today. Traditional New Year festival of Tamil Puthandu, Vishu, Rongali Bihu, Nobaborsha and Vesakudi being celebrated in different parts of the country. And Mumbai Indians beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 10 runs in IPL cricket. As the number of COVID cases are on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower the guard, follow all the precautions and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the COVID-19 pandemic has presented an opportunity to reshape the world order and to reorient thinking. Inaugurating the 6th edition of the Raisina Dialogue virtually, Mr. Modi said, mankind will not defeat the pandemic unless everyone, everywhere, regardless of the color of their passports, come out of it.
The COVID-19 pandemic has presented us an opportunity to reshape the world order, to reorient our thinking. We must create systems that addresses the problems of today and challenges of tomorrow. And we must think of the entire humanity and not merely of those who are on our side of the borders. Humanity as a whole must be at the center of our thinking and action.
Prime Minister said, keeping this in mind, despite many constraints, India has supplied vaccines to over 80 countries. The Prime Minister said, during this pandemic, India has tried to walk the talk, tried to protect its 1.3 billion citizens and also support pandemic response efforts of others. He also asked global leaders to have cooperation to address problems like hunger and poverty. Mr. Modi also highlighted the importance to protect the planet Earth, saying while people may be used to having Plan A and Plan B, but there is no Planet B. In his speech, Mr. Modi said, this edition of Raisina Dialogue takes place at a watershed moment in human history.
This edition of Raisina Dialogue takes a place at a watershed moment in human history. A global pandemic has been ravaging the world for over a year. The last such global pandemic was a century ago. Although humanity has faced many infectious diseases, since then, the world today is underprepared to handle the COVID-19 pandemic. Our scientists, researchers and industry have answered some questions. What is the virus? How does it spread? How can we slow it down? How do we make a vaccine? How do we administer vaccine at scale and with speed? To these and many other such questions, many solutions have emerged. And no doubt, many more are yet to come.
The event is jointly organized by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Observer Research Foundation. The theme for the 2021 edition is #ViralWorld, Outbreaks, Outliers and Out of Control. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact today with governors and lieutenant governors regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. The interaction will be held through video conferencing. Last week, the Prime Minister had held a meeting with the Chief Ministers on the COVID situation. Mr. Modi had stressed on the need to create micro-containment zones to effectively contain the rising cases of COVID-19. The Prime Minister had also urged states to intensify their efforts on a war footing. A report.
The meeting has been called amid rising cases of COVID-19 and centers all-out efforts to check the spread of the infection by encouraging stronger adherence to the COVID-appropriate behavior among citizens. The governors and LG's meeting is significant as center is intended to involve all stakeholders and leave no stone unturned to check the sudden spike. The interaction comes days after Mr. Modi, in a virtual meeting with chief ministers, had called for the involvement of governors in handling the pandemic, saying it will send a positive message and help bring people from different walks of life together. In March last year, President Ramnath Kovind had interacted with governors and lieutenant governors soon after the COVID-19 outbreak. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the government has no plans of imposing a countrywide lockdown amid the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. She said that the government does not want to totally arrest the economy and the second wave of COVID will be handled through isolation and quarantine methods at local levels. The minister stated this during a virtual interaction with President World Bank Group David Malpass yesterday.
Even with the second wave, we are very clear that we are not going in for lockdowns in a big way. We don't want to totally arrest the economy. Local level isolation of patients or households which have people in quarantine are the methods through which the crisis will be handled. The second wave will be handled. There shall not be a lockdown. Industry has also been speaking with us, both with the provincial governments and with the central government.
The central government is fast-tracking the emergency use approvals for foreign vaccines. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has announced that it is accelerating the approval process for foreign vaccines that have been granted emergency use authorization by several foreign drug regulators like US Food and Drug Administration, European Medicines Agency and others. Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul has said that this will expand the coverage of the vaccination drive in the country.
बाहर के जो विदेश में बने हुए वैक्सीन हैं, अगर उनको यूएस के रेगुलेटर ने, यूके के रेगुलेटर ने, ईयू के रेगुलेटर ने और जापान के रेगुलेटर ने अप्रूव किया है या डब्ल्यूएचओ की इमरजेंसी यूज ऑथराइजेशन लिस्ट में इंक्लूड हो गया है, देन दैट और दोज वैक्सीन आर अप्रूव्ड फॉर यूज इन इंडिया. अ प्रायर प्री कंडीशन ऑफ अ क्लिनिकल ट्रायल विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल एंड दिस इज अ प्रोविजन फॉर कोविड-19 वैक्सीन्स ओनली अंडर द स्पेशल सर्कमस्टांसेस of the day of the pandemic related urgency that is prevailing in the country.
The Maharashtra government has decided to impose 15-day strict restrictions in the state from 8 p.m. today to break the chain of COVID-19 pandemic. In a virtual address to the people, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray said that daily spike of COVID cases in the state is scary and Section 144 will be imposed across the state to contain the spread of the virus. We have more from our Mumbai correspondent.
The fortnight-long daytime curfew between 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. will last for the next 15 days. Addressing the people of the state through Facebook Live last evening, Thackeray said that daily spike of COVID cases is scary and as a reason, Section 144 will be imposed across the state. During this period, public transport like local trains in Mumbai and bus service will not be suspended, but only employees from the essential services will be allowed to commute. He urged the centre to allow the state to use the services of the Indian Air Force to airlift oxygen supplies from outside Maharashtra, stating that he would be writing to Prime Minister Narendra Modi about the effect of the restrictions imposed on the marginalized, poor and daily wage workers. Thackeray stated that he would be urging the PM to declare it as a national natural calamity and consider giving relief package to the needy. He also urged centre to give extension of 3 months to small and medium traders to file their GST returns. He further informed that the state government on its part will be providing subsidized ration of wheat at rupees 3 per kg and rice at rupees 2 per kg to 7 crore daily wage earners for a period of 1 month. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Gujarat University Convention cum Exhibition Centre at GMDC ground in Ahmedabad will be converted into a 900-bed COVID care hospital. According to the official sources, the centre has accepted the proposal of the Gujarat government for setting up COVID care hospital by DRDO in Ahmedabad. The proposed hospital will be ready in next 2 weeks. More details from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
In an unprecedented initiative, the Gujarat University Convention cum Exhibition Centre in Ahmedabad will be converted into a 900-bed dedicated COVID care hospital. This hospital will be set up by Gujarat government in collaboration with the Government of India and DRDO. All the 900 ICU beds will be equipped with oxygen and other critical facilities, out of which 150 beds will have a ventilator facility. If needed, the capacity of this dedicated COVID care hospital will be increased by 500 more beds. Chief Minister Vijay Rumani thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah for prompt response to his request to overcome the rising cases of COVID-19. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has released an amount of 52 crore rupees for 52 districts of the state. An amount of 1 crore rupees from the Chief Minister's Relief Fund to each district has been released for the prevention of the COVID-19 epidemic. More details from our Bhopal correspondent.
The amount will be utilized in purchase of necessary equipments, provision of food and clothes in rehabilitation camps, operation of medical camps. An interdepartmental committee will be set up under the chairmanship of the district collector in relation to the expenditure made available from the Chief Minister's Relief Fund. Arrangements regarding adequate staffing in all the hospitals is also being made. Chief Minister Mr. Chauhan directed Health Department officials that retirement period of doctors, paramedical staff should be extended, and those who have retired, if they wish, should be kept on contract. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that there will be no lockdown in the state as of now. After a review meeting on the COVID situation yesterday, he said that the government has only imposed night curfew and there is no need for a lockdown. He has also appealed to the people of the state not to pay heed to rumours. The Chief Minister said that central and state governments are working together in the fight against coronavirus. He had directed state officials to continue the effective action to control COVID-19 as per the goal of test, track, treat. State government will establish 12 RT-PCR test labs in different districts to augment COVID testing. The government has also fixed the rates of COVID tests in private labs.
The national capital Delhi reported a highest single-day spike of 13,468 new COVID-19 cases during the past 24 hours. 81 deaths were also reported. Presently, the capital has over 43,000 active cases. In the last 24 hours, 7,972 people were discharged. Over 11 crore 10 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered so far in the country. These include over 90 lakh healthcare workers, HCWs who have taken the first dose, and around 56 lakh HCWs who have taken the second dose, over 1 crore frontline workers, FLWs with the first dose, and over 50 lakh FLWs with the second dose. On the 88th day of the nationwide COVID-19 vaccination yesterday, over 25 lakh vaccine doses were given across the country, out of which over 21 lakh beneficiaries were vaccinated for the first dose and around 4 lakh beneficiaries received the second dose of the vaccine. While 45,000 COVID vaccination centres, CVCs, on an average are functional on any given day in the country, over 67,000 CVCs were operational yesterday, marking a rise of more than 21,000 operational vaccination centres.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says corona pandemic has presented an opportunity to reshape world order and to reorient thinking. Vice President and Prime Minister to interact with governors and lieutenant governors on COVID situation today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says government has no plan to impose countrywide lockdown amid spike in COVID cases. Maharashtra government to impose 15-day strict restrictions in the state from 8 p.m. today to break the chain of pandemic. Nation pays homage to architect of Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, on his 130th birth anniversary today. NHAI to deploy network survey vehicle to enhance quality of national highways in the country. Holy month of Ramzan begins today. Traditional New Year festival of Tamil Puthand, Vishu, Rongali Bihu and Nobu Barsho and Vaisakudi being celebrated in different parts of the country. And Mumbai Indians beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 10 runs in IPL cricket. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The nation pays homage to the architect of Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, on his 130th birth anniversary today. A report from our correspondent.
The father of the Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, donned many hats, being social reformer, economist, politician who dedicated his life for the people. Dr. Ambedkar worked steadfast throughout his life to end social and caste discrimination against the marginalized sections of the society. A legendary jurist, economist, social reformer, anthropologist and political leader, Dr. Ambedkar was born in Mohor town in Indore district in Madhya Pradesh on April 14, 1891 as the 14th child of Ramji M. Sakpal and Bhimabai R. Sakpal. Humble beginning, he went on to study abroad. Dr. Ambedkar worked hard all his life, often surviving on a small loaf of bread, studying 18 hours daily at the Lehman Social Sciences Library during his days at the Columbia University in New York, and later became its most famous alumnus to be honored with a statue there in 1995. Dr. Ambedkar is famed for his powerful speeches and intellectual writings. A renowned social reformer and an icon of the underprivileged, he spoke unequally against the inequality, injustice and discrimination faced by the members of the scheduled caste and backward class people. He went on to become the first Law and Justice Minister of independent India. He died on December 6, 1956. He was awarded India's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna, in 1990 posthumously. Meanwhile, British Columbia province of Western Canada is celebrating Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's birth anniversary as Equality Day. The proclamation was made on April 1 by the Lieutenant Governor of province of British Columbia, Janet Austin, declaring that April 14, 2021 shall be known as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Equality Day in the province. Ravi Kumar with Anupam Mishra for AIR News.
President Ramnath Kovind has greeted fellow citizens on the birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In a message, the President, Mr. Kovind, said, all through his inspiring life, Dr. Ambedkar charted his unique path in the midst of extreme adversity and earned commendations for his extraordinary and multifaceted achievements. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today paid rich tributes to Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar on his birth anniversary. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Dr. Ambedkar's struggle to bring the deprived sections of the society into the mainstream will continue to be an example for every generation. Films Division is paying tribute to Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar by screening a biographical documentary on his life and works. Directed by Dr. Jabbar Patel, the film Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar will be streamed on the Films Division website and YouTube channel for 24 hours.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the 95th annual meet of Association of Indian Universities and National Seminar of Vice Chancellors at 11 a.m. today. On this occasion, Mr. Modi will also release 4 books based on Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar's life, written by Kishore Makwana. These books are Dr. Ambedkar Jeevan Darshan, Dr. Ambedkar Vyakti Darshan, Dr. Ambedkar Rashtra Darshan and Dr. Ambedkar Ayam Darshan. The event is being organized by Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University of Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Governor and Chief Minister of Gujarat and Union Education Minister will also be present during the event.
The National Highways Authority of India, NHAI, has decided to deploy Network Survey Vehicle, NSV, to enhance the quality of the national highways in the country. Carrying out road condition survey using NSV on the national highways has been made mandatory at the time of certifying completion of the project and every 6 months thereafter. The provision has also been included as a part of the standard bidding document of consultancy services. The deployment will help in enhancing the overall quality of the highways as NSV uses the latest survey techniques including high-resolution digital camera and laser road profilometer for measurement of distresses in the road surface.
The holy month of Ramzan begins today. The Shahi Imam of Delhi's Jama Masjid, Sayyid Ahmad Bukhari, and moon sighting committees announced this. Ramzan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar and Eid al-Fitr is celebrated at the culmination of the fasting month. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended his best wishes for Ramzan. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Ramzan gives an important message of serving the needy and underprivileged. He said it also reaffirms the importance of equality, brotherhood and compassion.
Traditional New Year festival of Tamil Puthand, Vishu, Rongali Bihu, Nobaborsha, Pana Sankranti and Vesakuri is being celebrated in different parts of the country. According to the luni-solar calendar, the first day of the full moon of Chaitra is the beginning of the Hindu New Year. Tamil Puthand, the first day of the Chittirai month, marks the beginning of the Tamil calendar. It is an auspicious occasion for new projects and new ventures in family and social circles. Our correspondent reports that as COVID restrictions are in place in the state, people are celebrating the festival with COVID-appropriate behavior.
In keeping with the tradition, houses are decorated with rangolis at the doorsteps and mango leaf festoons are hung at the entrance. Food with 6 different tastes are made at home. Sweet, salt, bitter, sour, spicy and Tuvarpur dishes are traditional menus for the day. The vada payasam, pachadi or a yogurt-based dish are generally prepared with mango. Mango, jackfruit and banana, the mukkani dish, are considered to be the tastiest dish of the day. People visit temples to pay obeisance and also visit friends and families. Chittirai is also the summer season of the year where the heat begins to rise above normalcy. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
Keralites across the globe are celebrating Vishu, the festival of harvest and prosperity today. Here is a report from our Thiruvananthapuram correspondent.
Vishu is the astronomical new year of the state, marking the sun's transit into the Medam Rashi. Lord Krishna is worshipped in this auspicious day that resonates with symbolism of abundance in every sense. The day begins with Vishukani, the first thing to be seen on this day, comprising of Lord Krishna adorned with fruits, vegetables, kanikonna flowers, gold, coins, etc. Elders of the family offer their blessing in the form of Vishukainatam. In major temples such as Guruvayur, Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple, Shabarimala, etc., Vishukani and special rituals will be held. Amid COVID pandemic, Vishu is being celebrated under strict restrictions this time. Mayusha for AIR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted the people on the occasion.
On the 100th anniversary of the Kingdom of Jordan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi conveyed his warm greetings to King Abdullah and to the people of Jordan. In his remarks, Mr. Modi said, the two countries are united in their belief in moderation and peaceful coexistence. He also said that both the countries will continue to walk side by side in their joint efforts for a better future for all humanity.
India and Jordan are united in the belief that moderation and peaceful coexistence are essential for peace and prosperity. We will continue to walk side by side in our joint efforts for a better future for all humanity. Once again, I extend my heartiest greetings to His Majesty and to the people of Jordan on this happy occasion. Alf Mabruk, 1,000 congratulations.
Mr. Modi said under the far-sighted leadership of King Abdullah, Jordan has achieved sustainable and inclusive growth. He said its progress in economic, social and cultural development has been remarkable. The Prime Minister said in an important region of the world, Jordan has emerged as a powerful voice and a global symbol of moderation and inclusivity. He said it has emerged as a model state, living in peace with its neighbours and is a symbol of stability and a voice of reason.
Campaigning for the 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal will come to an end this afternoon following Election Commission's order. The ECI had increased the silence period to 72 hours for this phase. Polling will be held on 17th of this month in 45 seats across 6 districts in this phase. In IPL cricket, defending Mumbai Indians beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 10 runs in Chennai last night. In pursuit of a 153-run target, Kolkata Knight Riders were restricted to 142 for 7 in 20 overs. Nitish Rana top scored for KKR with a 47-ball 57 and gets the orange cap. Mumbai Indian spinner Rahul Chahar was the pick of the bowlers who returned with 4 for 27, his best bowling figures in an IPL innings. He was declared player of the match. Earlier, KKR skipper Eoin Morgan won the toss and invited five-time champions Mumbai Indians to bat first. Andre Russell claimed a 5-wicket haul to register his best IPL bowling figures as Kolkata Knight Riders bowled out Mumbai Indians for 152 after opting to field. Russell returned with the figures of 5 for 15 in 2 overs to register his best bowling figures in IPL, while Pat Cummins took 2 wickets in 4 overs. For Mumbai Indians, Surya Kumar Yadav top scored with 56 off 36 balls, while captain Rohit Sharma contributed with 43 off 32 balls. Today, Sunrisers Hyderabad will take on Royal Challengers Bangalore in Chennai at 7:30 p.m. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata, all the 4 metro cities, will have a partly cloudy sky. The temperatures in Delhi will hover between 20 and 40 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature in Mumbai was 26 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. The temperature in Chennai will vary between 27 and 35 degrees Celsius, and the city of Kolkata observed a minimum temperature of 27 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 39 degrees. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or in the night. The temperatures will hover between 9 and 20 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature will be 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. Leh is expected to have generally cloudy sky. The minimum and maximum temperatures will hover around -2 and 12 degrees Celsius. Gilgit again will have generally cloudy sky. The temperatures will hover between 10 and 25 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature was 11 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 29 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. With the recent surge in COVID cases, most newspapers today take note of plans to add more jabs to the existing basket of vaccines. Government to fast-track nod for foreign vaccines in India, notes the Asian Age. Record 13.5 thousand cases in a day, Kejriwal seeks to defer exams, writes the Pioneer. Reporting on the development post the 24-hour campaign ban imposed by the Election Commission, Didi holds dharna over EC ban, Shah keeps up attack, writes Hindustan Times. Moving a step closer to the national carrier's privatization, suitors asked to place bids for Air India, writes the Financial Express. Attributing it to some recovery in consumption during the second half, indirect tax collection rises 12% in FY21, states the Business Standard. SkyMed forecast a healthy normal monsoon, states the Hindu. Sushil Chandra takes over as 24th CEC is a front-page story in the Statesman. And finally, the e-Courts project is on its way to give a 24/7 digital window to litigants. E-Court may let cases be filed 24/7 from anywhere, headlines the Times of India.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Corona pandemic has presented an opportunity to reshape world order and to reorient thinking. Vice President and Prime Minister to interact with governors and lieutenant governors on the COVID situation today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says government has no plan to impose countrywide lockdown amid spike in corona cases. Maharashtra government to impose 15-day strict restrictions in the state from 8 p.m. today to break the chain of pandemic. Nation pays homage to architect of Indian Constitution Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his 130th birth anniversary today. NHAI to deploy network survey vehicle to enhance quality of national highways in the country. Holy month of Ramzan begins today. Traditional New Year festival of Tamil Puthand, Vishu, Rangoli Bihu, Novabarsha and Vesakuri being celebrated in different parts of the country. And with that we end the morning news. Have a nice day.